Band of Enchantment.
The Show Me Stater shows him in Tennessee.
Powerboats sail above the Louisiana water.
This and more coming up on Speedweek.
Speedweek is brought to you by B.F. Goodrich, makers of high-performance TA radios. We make cars perform. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to Speedweek.
And I'm Larry Newbert. The national driving title this year will go to either Al Unser Sr. or Al Unser Jr., and it will be decided in Miami, Florida.
Al Sr. is now the points leader after Sunday's Dana 150, an event we televised live from Phoenix International Raceway.
Speeds at Phoenix this year were outstanding. The new pavement pushed Big Al's full speed to well over 161 miles an hour. But Unser had a gearbox problem at the start and fell into third behind Bobby Rahal and Emerson Fittipaldi. The only serious crash of the day came on lap 3 when Johnny Rutherford and Ari Lyondike ended up against the second turn wall. After climbing from the car and appearing to be all right, Rutherford is later airlifted to a local hospital but is released. On the 36th lap, Unser, like a bolt of lightning, passes both Fittipaldi and Rahal down the backstretch to take the lead. He gives it up for only 3 laps during his pit stop. 2 more yellow lights, Randy Lanier brushed the wall in turn 2 and stopped. Then, just as the green came on, Gary Bettenhausen hit the wall but was not injured. Fittipaldi was plagued with numerous problems, finished 8th, and is out of the points race. Danny Sullivan finished 4th, but he too was eliminated from the points battle. Michael Andretti was 5th, and Rahal's hot streak was cooled with a 6th place finish. He could still finish 2nd in points, but can't win the title. Al Jr. passed Mario Andretti with just 24 laps to go. They finished 2nd and 3rd, respectively. It was Senior's first win since 1983 at Cleveland, the 38th of his career, and his 6th at Phoenix. Here's how the points shape up. Al Sr. has 139, Al Jr. 136. Rahal is third with 116, then Andretti with 114, and Sullivan 106. With 22 points available in Miami, we'll either have the oldest national champion in history, Al Sr., or the youngest, Al Jr.
Gordon Johncock announced at Phoenix last weekend he'll come out of retirement next year, but the team he'll be with was not disclosed. Kevin Cogan will reportedly sign with Pat Patrick for 1986. The Craco team that Cogan has been with this year will be a one-car effort next year with Michael Andretti as driver and Barry Green as crew chief. And the 1986 Indianapolis 500 will be paced by a Corvette convertible, the first built since 1975.
Going into the final Super V race of the season, rookie Ken Johnson had very specific instructions.
He was racing to finish, at least keep Davy Jones in sight. 5th or better would net him the title. Jeff Andretti broke his brother's Super V record and gridded first. As told to, Johnson watches Jones and Jeff McPherson. Soon after, they zoom side by side under a slowing Didier Taze. Johnson obediently follows. Later, Didier's blistered tires told the story with a lone martini. Another rookie, Steve Brenn, suffered a poor trial. Started 17th, but moved to the top 10. That's he in the middle. His brother Kerry, after a machine slowdown, is double drilled in turn 4. Lots of damage, but no injury. It's only halfway. Jones has caught leader Andretti. Jeff will have to be close to perfect for 30 laps. Last lap, Matt McBride is being lapped, but a teeny wiggle by Jones between 3 and 4 wiped out any chance he had. Andretti wins, and Johnson gets a disciplined 4th and the second Provimi Field championship in a row. Jones is second in points, Mike Groff third, then Kerry Brenn and Andretti.
The third race of the weekend at Phoenix, the Jim Russell Pro Mazda Series. Mark Walikachuk's full speed was 119.733, faster than the Champ cars were going here 20 years ago. Joe Romans brings out the first yellow in the 25-lapper, but everyone gets by safely. Walikachuk, number 29, is in command from the beginning. Number 22, Ken Thwaites, challenges for a while. He'll finish 4th, but win the championship. Mike Prather begins this crash with a spin. He's hit hard by Russ Montega. Also involved is Dave McGaffey. All are okay. Number 6, Tom Tate, finished third in the race and finished second in points, just one behind Waits.
In our next segment, Rusty wins, but the White Knight is champ.
And bucks the system in Kingsport. Stay with us.
BF Goodrich GA Radials. Update. For enthusiasts. Subject. Advanced Tire Laboratory. Cars. Porsche 962s. The ultimate BF Goodrich Laboratories. Testing the technology of tomorrow's tires. Of course, we like to win, but we race to learn. And learn we do. Because no test track can possibly duplicate the forces that act on tires quite like the racetrack. And the racetrack is where GA radial technology develops in competition with special-purpose racing tires. The result? High-performance street tires for you. Watch GA radials and Porsche perform today and see the technology of tomorrow. BF Goodrich GA radials. We make cars perform.
We're here to win. Well, I like more the very fast circuit.
Any period of time, you're going to have a couple of crashes.
Circuit, the feature-length motion picture, now available for your home library. Featuring Danny Sullivan, Bobby Rahal, Jeff Brabham, Teo Bobby, Al Hobart, and a cast of thousands. Circuit, it's not available anywhere else. Call 1-800-543-8000, operator 332 on VHS or Beta.
The Nashville Motor Speedway annual All-American Late Model Race pits the best of the North against the best of the South.
This year's 40-car field made up of 22 Rebels and 15 Yankees, although 3 more are really Northerners with current Southern addresses: Joe Ruttman, Tim Richmond, and Rusty Wallace. The first 10 evenly divided, 5 and 5, with local ace Mike Alexander the fastest of this star-studded field. His 114-mile-per-hour track record, 8 faster than Cale Yarborough's Grand National mark. 4, co-sanctioner ASA, a title on the line. The highest finisher between Dick Trickle and surprising Butch Miller will be king. All-Pro has 3 more races. 7 drivers would lead what turned out to be a 3.5-hour contest. Aggressive Mike Eddy, the first out. 7th qualifier, Dave Mader III, next to retire. Then Mike Alexander bitten again by Nashville when he tangled with Randy Porter. This type of racing is beginning to make its mark in the big leagues. This quartet had been top 5 most of the day, each now with Grand National experience: Ridley, Kolwicki, Alexander, and Ruttman. Most often seen at the front, Gary Ballou and Rusty Wallace. Kolwicki and Jody Ridley involved in a dual spin. Ridley has always used the number 98, by the way, because Arnelli Jones was his favorite driver. Here's another of the more interesting entries: Floridian Rat Lane, one of the early proponents of rear-engine super-modified racing. This spin here preceded a DNF. 16,000 watched as Rusty Wallace turned out to have the most at the end, more than Ballou. Trickle was third, beating Butch Miller by a single position in the ASA season championship. Behind Trickle and Miller in points, one-time winner Alan Kowicki, 4-time winner Mark Martin, and all-time leading winner Bob Seneca.
As we reported 4 weeks ago, there will be a NASCAR Grand National race next year at Watkins Glen. The official announcement was made Wednesday by NASCAR President Phil France.
The exact format of the event has not been established, but it will be on the 2.4-mile road course, have a purse in excess of $400,000, and will not replace any other event. Race driver and Nashville attorney Gary Baker is spearheading an effort to build a super speedway and bring NASCAR Grand National racing back to his city. But Baker is not optimistic about getting a Grand National date next year.
I do not think we will see Winston Cup racing here next year. I still want to have my discussion with Bill, simply because I'm just at the point I'm ready to make a decision. Either this new one's going to be built, in which case there's going to be a commitment from NASCAR to go along with us and say, yeah, we're in camp with you. We'll be back in 86, one race, 87, one race, and then we're ready to go. Or I'm just saying we've seen the glory days of racing in Nashville. We can enjoy what we had in the history and our place in the history books, and relegate ourselves to the fact that we do not any longer have a place in the history books that are going to be written in the future.
Coors and Bill Elliott have signed a contract through 1988. Tommy Houston won the NASCAR late model sportsman race at Hickory, North Carolina last weekend, his first since August of 1984. And one spectator was killed, another critically injured when a stock car went into a crowd at a racetrack in San Bernardino, California, Saturday night.
Second annual NDRA Stroh's Invitational, dirt late model's biggest race, last week in Kingsport, Tennessee, just down the road from Bristol. Late week rains left the track precarious for prelims as this 8-car green flag pileup showers the pits. Part of this $250,000 purse was a world championship for 6 cylinders. 2 multi-car jam sessions here. First, this 7-car ensemble set off by number 21 Cheryl Haney, and this 9-car off-key chorus when Buster May went around. Ernie Irvan, number 1, outraced Brogy Broyles to win. A much drier track faced the more powerful V8s. Another interesting field including Kenny Brightbill, Larry Phillips, Joe Lee's son Ronnie Johnson, Rodney Combs, and former NASCAR national champ Tom Hurst. 13 states represented in the 24-car field. Tennessee's Jeff Purvis banged into the lead, but had to give way to Georgia's Buck Simmons, who eventually won the $20,000 first prize.
The Foliage 100 final race of the NASCAR North season was held last Sunday at Barry, Vermont. NASCAR Grand National standout Bill Elliott served as honorary starter. Number 12, Tom Glazer, led the early portion of the event, but Chuck Bown in number 7 took the checkered flag. Not only did he win the 100-lapper, Bown also beat Robbie Crouch in the NASCAR North Showdown involving the season's 10 feature winners. The victory was worth $5,000.
When we return, St. Louis hosts a big weekend. Rick wins in Can-Am.
And Formula Atlantic crowns a champ.
Well, look who's here.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Okay. How would it be if Craig worked out with you?
Final Can-Am race of the year will be held in St. Petersburg, Florida, November 3rd, and Rick Miskiewicz will be going for 4 wins in a row.
The racetrack here in St. Louis is built close to the interstate, and signs appear to give the drivers a choice of either going to St. Louis or Chicago. Miskiewicz makes a nice move here at the start from his second-row starting position. He bumps Horst Kroll, but gets the lead. This motocross enthusiast and champion downhill and slalom skier went on to win his 3rd straight Can-Am in a race that was shortened from 56 to 40 laps. Kroll finished second and remained second in points. Diego Montoya in number 82 moved from his 7th starting position to take 3rd. Jeremy Hill was 4th overall and 1st in the under 2-liter division.
For the East Coast Formula Atlantic cars, St. Louis determined their season champ.
Illinois' Michael Angus, one of 2 with a shot at the crown, qualified for the pole 3 seconds faster than second quick. This race stopped after a lap and declared a rain race, allowing everyone to change tires. Prudent decision, for what happened next rivals Hurricane Gloria. Looking more like hydroplanes, the E-car sloshed gallantly on. Angus was absolutely marvelous. Speeds tumbled down, and it became a guessing game how much you could slide around and not slide off and still do it faster than everyone else. Michael Greenfield, whose dad was on the Can-Am pole, slipped and took Steve Shelton with him. Greenfield pulled away and was spectacular, moving back up through the drenched field to 6th. Shelton was Angus's only points rival, but his hopes ended up crushed against a fence 2 laps later. Second went to James King. Dallas's Glenn Smith is 4th. You can see the interval here, and then Paul Poore. Peter Heckman had to get out and change his own tires, struggle with a flat-bottom car all day, but still managed 5th. Angus won big in scoring the championship. A race remains at St. Petersburg.
A Pro Sports 2000 race was also run at St. Louis International. The top 7 qualifiers all broke the previous track record. The fastest, Bill Fickling in car 71. But John Fergus in number 88 led every lap in winning the race, and his fastest lap during the contest was a half-second faster than the top qualifier. Number 28, Jay Hill, spun twice, this one in turn 1 on lap 2. Calvin Fish in number 12 was 3rd, and Scott Overby was 4th.
In Formula One news, Jonathan Palmer has signed to drive for Zaxbyt again next year. Jacques Lafitte and Philippe Streff are expected to remain with Leger in 86. And the latest rumor has René Arnoux in the 2nd Brabham car for next year. At least 3 teams who were questionable will be participating in the South African Grand Prix. McLaren, Ferrari, and Alfa Romeo have all confirmed they will be going. So far, the only definite ones not going will be the Leger and Renault teams, and the Ram team because of its withdrawal of their Skoal sponsorship.
General Motors is said to be interested in building a new NASCAR Grand National contender and have reportedly offered 2 employees of Jack Roush's protofab operation, Charlie Seelix and Gary Pratt, high-paying jobs. GM is also said to be interested in hiring Bob Riley, who designed Bill Elliott's Thunderbird. Roush, whose company prepared Ford Caprice for the Trans Am Series this year, may be running a turbocharged Mercure next year. And speaking of the Trans Am Series, Bendix Brake will be back again as series sponsor. The new Jaguar XJR7, designed by Lee Dykstra, will probably make its debut at Daytona's IMSA race on December 1st.
Coming up in New York, Brett Four Wheels it over Jumpin' Jack and Barefoot Bob.
And in California, a crazy Two Wheels it.
The episode of the week is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that codes.
Football's race Saturday. 15,000 to winner and fast qualifier Sammy Swindell, who started underheat coughing with just 4 laps to go. Weekend's biggest surprise, Swindell on the modified pole, his first modified race ever. However, he was involved in this crash that has left veteran Buzzy Wiedemann in guarded condition. Tommy Wilson started 48th, was 5th. And Brett Hearn worked on his car all night, started 31st, but finished just in front of Jack Johnson and Bob McCready, a $48,000 win.
In 10 USAC National Super Modified races this year, Chuck Gurney has finished either first or second in 9 of them. His most recent win was Saturday night in Bakersfield, California.
Gurney started second in the 30-lap feature, but trailed pole sitter Mark Krause for the first 9 circuits. Then Chuck moved his number 4 to the inside on the main stretch and took the lead for good. Billy Vukovic at number 78 finished second, about 6 car lengths behind. Wally Pankratz was third, followed by Krause and Everett Edlin. It was Gurney's 6th win of the series. The season finale is on November 23rd and 24th at Phoenix International Raceway.
The 14th and final IMSA Firestone Firehawk showroom stock race last weekend at Watkins Glen. At 24 hours, the longest event in the Glen's history. If either Walt Moss or John Millage teammates had set fast time, he would be champ. But their surprise teammate, Drake Olson, fresh off his latest GTP win, was quickest, so they ended up tied for the championship. Their 4th team driver, Kays Nerop, the solid team won by a comfortable 12 laps, but it was 24 hours. Entry lists at these races are always interesting. Among this field were Kemper Miller and David Cowart, Bob and Bobby Aiken, and Derek Daly, and Peter Argetsinger, whose father designed the original course back in 1948.
What began in August of 1984 ended last Saturday night, the Coors U.S. National Speedway Bike Championship in Costa Mesa, California.
Riders began earning points the previous August, and the top 16 are invited to this finale. 24-lap races. The rider who accumulates the most points is champion. Spills and crashes were a part of the evening. Number 77, Robert Fitzig, went down in Heat 1. This 6th heat had to be restarted 4 times for incidents like this. When it was all over, Alan Crazy Christian on Bike 2 came out on top. He was assured the title when Mike Faria made contact with another bike and broke a chain. It was Christian's first championship after several years of trying.
USAC midget racing may be a possibility in Japan next spring. USAC's Dick King, Roger McCluskey, and former Indianapolis Motor Speedway ground superintendent Clarence Cagle have gone there to explore the possibility. And the final event in the USAC Western States Midget Series was won by Robbie Flock Sunday night at Ascot Park. Series champion Sleepy Tripp ended with a 64-point margin over Rusty Rasmussen.
Speaking of Tripp, he and some of the other American drivers who normally go to Australia and New Zealand for winter racing won't be going this year. One of the major tracks is undergoing a reconstruction and won't be finished until about February. The Tasman Series will be run in New Zealand, and U.S. Super B drivers Terry and Steve Bryn, Jeff McPherson, and Ted Krappus are interested in it. Mike Groff and Jeff Andretti have been named co-rookies of the year in Super Bs.
Here's this week's trivia question. The Syracuse Modified Nationals began in 1972. Who has the most wins? A. Buzzy Ruderman, B. Gary Ballou, C. Jack Johnson, D. Murph Chrysler, or E. Jeff Bodine. Bob will have the answer in a moment.
When the big U flows, America...
Here's the answer to this week's trivia question. Ruderman won the first 2 Syracuse Nationals, but none since. Johnson has a couple of victories. Merv Kreitler won back-to-back on ESPN in the early 80s. Jeff Bodine, surprisingly, has never won at the fairgrounds. But B, Gary Ballou has won the most, 4.
Steve Michael reports on the National Powerboat Association Championship on Lake Pontchartrain.
Coleman D'Souza jumped off to an immediate lead from the dock and headed into turn number 1 of the shortened 30-lap event, looking real strong, wanting the title in his easy loader Seabold-built hull. The race, however, was stopped just after it began when the sport's all-time winningest driver, Bill Seabold, to the shock of everyone, barrel-rolled his boat to a dead stop from over 100 miles an hour. The wily veteran was pronounced okay, but his title chances gone for 1985. John Nichols brought out the red flag 6 laps later when he did a repeat of the Seabold incident, and again there was a planned restart. Here the story took a dramatic turn as the crew on Mike Seabold's boat had a chance to change race propellers and fix an electrical problem that had plagued him from the start. Getting a great jump on the field on a restart, Mike moved to the right behind leader D'Souza and was now having boat handling problems. The 26-year-old from St. Louis finally picked his spot and passed by for the win and the series championship just 2 laps from the end. It was a surprise and excited Seabold family at the end of the day and a great year for NPA and Mercury in the Champ Boat Grand Prix Series. This is Steve Michael reporting.
Next week on Speedweek, NASCAR at Rockingham, and a complete report on the FCCA runoffs at Road Atlanta. I'm Bob Jenkins.
And I'm Larry Newbert. You might say that IndyCar racing has been unsurpassed this season. We leave you with more from Phoenix.
Speedweek has been brought to you by B.F. Goodrich, makers of high-performance TA radios. We make cars perform.
Skies of United, serving more of the nation's top 100 business centers than anyone.
You're not just flying, you're flying with friendly skies.